Hello, welcome to News Center. I'm Parikshit Luthra. It's the eve of Dusshera. Markets across the country are full of people. The government is betting on the GST cut, giving a boost to consumption. Automobile companies have reported a big surge in inquiries and bookings in the last week after the GST cuts took effect. E-commerce companies are also reporting bumper sales. Amazon, Flipkart seeing a 30% surge this year compared to last year. Gold prices have hit a record high, but that's not stopping people from thronging jewelry stores across the country. In fact, prices of all precious metals, including silver, platinum, have rallied in the last few days. So can this festive season provide the much-needed fillip to consumption? Let me now introduce our guest this evening. We're joined by Vinkesh Gulati, Director at United Automobiles, former President of the Automobile Dealers Association of FADA. Also joining us are Varun Mishra of Counterpoint Research and Manan, Shah, MD at Manan Infrastructure and Joint Secretary at CREDAI as well. Manan, Shah, if I can begin with you, could you give us a sense of what's been the sentiment in the real estate sector over the last 9 days of Navratri? What's the pipeline looking like ahead of Diwali?
So basically now the sentiments post GST, everywhere people are seeing some sort of a cost saving which has been happening, whether it's the consumer sector, whether it's the automobile, whether it's the real estate side. The cement thing has gone down like from 28%, now the GST is at 18%. So we're seeing that kind of a saving. And the overall sentiments usually during the festive season has been always more positive. And people are seeing a good lineup. In fact, the weekends have always been a flooding of and pool of people at our sales offices because, it's auspicious time of the year to probably, buy an apartment. And at the same time, they are seeing that before, the sentiments change, let me make the best out of it. So in the real estate sector, we are seeing a good boost coming in overall, whether it's the affordable side or whether it's the luxury market. Luxury was doing probably well earlier as well. But the affordable is also now slowly picking up because they are seeing an overall surplus of cash flow in their savings in the things which they used to buy earlier.
Right. Manan, what I would also like to understand, the markets were anticipating a 25 basis point cut today. The RBI has decided to hold the repo rate steady at 5.5%. How do you think this is going to impact buying decisions? And if we were to ask you for an outlook for the entire festive period till Diwali, what kind of offtake or growth do you expect over last year?
See, on an overall basis, the housing loan is which mainly gets impacted by these cuts. But we have not seen any sentimental change, to be honest, from consumers in terms of their decision-making process. And it's not really a very, very high number which impacts your, the interest rate much. So overall, I don't see any sentimental change of not getting converted in this festive season. And I would still see a momentum getting continued in our industry.
All right. Let me go across to Mr. Vinkesh Gulati. Mr. Gulati, how has the day been for automotive dealers all across the country? It's Ram Navami, tomorrow's Dusshera. 9 days of Navratri are over. How have things been? And is there real interest in coming to showrooms after these GST cuts?
Hi, Parikshit. Thanks for calling me over. I feel it's the best 9 days which have gone and still a day left to complete for the Navratri thing. Today is one of the most auspicious occasion and all the showrooms in India are actually jam-packed today for the deliveries of the vehicles. We should consider that the new price effective happened on 22nd, and there are a lot of companies which actually gave better schemes than what the price was cut. So price and the schemes was a big bonanza for the customers, and it took us some 3, 4, 5 days for the finance process and the registration process. And for the past 2, 3 days, we are seeing huge deliveries across the market. And practically speaking, these 9 days, if I compare with the last year, overall the auto industry is seeing a good double-digit growth in all the segments, two-wheelers and the passenger vehicle also. So the GST reform has really helped us out this time to have such a phenomenal growth.
Mr. Gulati, what I would also like to ask you, as we're seeing in consumer electronics, many of the customers who were probably buying mid-range items Now, because the GST cuts are looking to buy higher end or premium products. So are you seeing this trend also with regard to cars and SUVs, people looking to buy bigger cars or maybe higher variants?
So it's right. See, post-COVID, we had already seen that people were wanting to buy better featured car. But with this cut, it has been a double-pronged mixed reaction what we are seeing. The customers who were already interested in the entry-level cars or an entry plus one variant, they are sticking to their choices. But the customers who were buying a middle-level car, with this price cut, they are easily able to upgrade one step further. So that is happening. We have seen a lot of customers upgrading their choices. But also there was one constraint because the price came in, the inventory issue of which variant was how much stock was there, and the vehicle was allocated to them what they had already booked. So wherever there was an option with the dealer of the inventory, the customers have upgraded it. Because even if a 50,000 or a lakh rupees was a difference because of the GST reform, and that's a nominal difference between one variant and an above variant. So a lot of interest happening there. I'm not sure if everybody got what they wanted, but most of the people did upgrade themselves during this period.
Okay, so let me also go across to Varun Mishra, Senior Analyst at Counterpoint Research. How do you see the sale of consumer durables, this product? Counterpoint Research tracks the mobile phone market very closely. What do you think have been the biggest trends this Navratri, Varun?
Thanks, Parikshit, for inviting me. So obviously, I think there's a double-digit growth. So this is what our channel checks indicate. And this is happening across key segments, for example, TVs and smartphones and overall market as well. So this is a combination of factors here. Number one is obviously the GST cut has boosted the demand. But I think the timing of the GST cut is also very, very important. So just doing it just before the festive season has instilled an overall positive sentiment across consumer segments. So we are seeing growth in segments where there is no GST cut happened as well. So this is the positive sentiment which is driving the market across some of these categories. And then we are also seeing discounts being more aggressive this year as compared to last year's. For some of the categories, we have seen discounts going as high as almost 50% of the price. And the third factor is obviously the EMIs. So we are seeing the premiumization trend happening across these segments. So we are seeing consumers in the premium segment opting for EMIs to buy their devices. So this has also increased the overall addressable market. So if you look at the data, almost 2 in 3 purchases within the premium segment is happening through EMIs. So a combination of all of these 3 factors has to a double-digit rise in the overall value of the market across these categories.
Right. What I would also like to ask you that among the key gainers, which would be the companies which are seeing the biggest sales or volume at this point?
I think Apple obviously is the biggest gainer, or anyone going within the premium segment is obviously gaining across categories, be it TVs or be it smartphones. So the premium segment and the premium players are gaining more than the overall market across segment is what we are looking at.
Right. Let me go back to Manan Shah once again. So Manan, in terms of the buying sentiment and total sales of real estate in this festive season, any forecast that you have in mind?
Like I said earlier, what we had anticipated, if I talk about my specific company, we had anticipated to launch a couple of projects this quarter. In fact, with this GST thing coming in, the way the positive sentiments have been flowing across the country regarding all the sectors, we've in fact preponed the launch of one of our projects. In fact, by next week, we are launching one of the projects at BKC, and we've already got a great lineup coming in from the people over there. So I think we were anticipating at least a 20-25% boost on the overall inventory conversion rather than just walk-ins coming in. Usually the festive seasons have a lot of walk-ins, but the booking sometimes dries down because there's too much of supply sometimes or too much of competition inventory being offered. But I feel everyone will be benefited out of it, especially I see this in the luxury sector because there the savings is always definitely a lot more.
All right. Mr. Gulati, do you see that certain models are now flying off the shelves? Will there be a scenario where customers will go to showrooms and they may not get certain models?
Yeah, Parikshit, that always happens whenever a spike in the sales is happening. And we should consider that people have been waiting after Modi ji announced on 15th August about this reform. And a retail which is pan out in some days, some months, if it has to be skewed in 9 days, it was always a problem. So most of the fast selling models and majorly the top end variant of all the models is the most wanted or the customer's demanded model, and it had always been in a bit of a short supply, and this time obviously it's the similar thing. One thing more, Parikshit, which we added is that with the current prices of the cutting down of entry level segment, we are seeing a huge jump also there. The inquiry level at all the OEMs which are selling products below 8 lakh rupees, and specifically Maruti, because now Maruti has 4 products which are less than 5 lakh rupees. It started 3.5. And that's where the major jump of inquiries I am seeing. And most of the Maruti dealers are very happy with this price cut, and they are expecting to do great numbers this time. Full festive. I'm not saying Navratri because the price came very late. So now going up to October end, which is Diwali, they are expecting a huge jump happening.
All right. Thank you very much, Varun, Mishra, Vinkesh, Gulati, Manan, Shah for joining us. We're taking a short break here on Festive Sentimeter, but when we return, we look at some of the big stories from today. The Union Cabinet has hiked the minimum support price for 6 Rabi crops and dearness allowance for central government employees. That and much more also on the India-EFTA agreement, which comes into effect from today.